Hi everyone, and welcome to the first live lesson dedicated to the members of the course Learn English with Monica. My name is Monica. I am very pleased to welcome everybody. I think that the majority of you are still working at the moment, so maybe they cannot take part to this live lesson, but you don't have to worry, because this live lesson will be available on our group, the English Academy. So of course you will have the chance to watch this video later. So as you know, this lesson will be entirely run in English language. And as it is the first lesson that I am holding in this group, I decided for this time to use some slides, so that also the ones that are not familiar with a person talking 100% in English could be, of course, available to follow the lesson thanks to the support of the written slides. I see that many people are starting watching this video, so I want to welcome everybody. If you want to write in the comments, I would be pleased to say hello to every one of you. So, in the meantime that we wait other people to connect, I would like to tell you which will be the focus of this first lesson, that, as you can see from the title, will be about how to become fluent in English. So, the topic of this lesson will be will be some tricks, some tips that I will give to you in order to become fluent in English, and in order to be able to think in English language. I know that for the majority of you, this could be quite hard, but with the tips that I will give to you today, it will be, of course, easier and fun. In fact, I will tell you how to transform, how to turn this exercise into a practice, into a fun practice, and into a game. Before starting, I would like to spend a couple of words to introduce myself, because I know that you have seen my face many times, and maybe you are happy today not to see my face, but I would like just to introduce myself, because this is the very first time that we have the chance to meet in person. So as you know, my name is Monica. I am 31 years old, and I am an English lecturer and an English coach. I graduated in interpreting and translation at Ulm University in Milan, and I majored in English and Spanish. After a couple of years after my graduation, I decided to major in tourism management. In fact, I attended an international master program where I am currently teaching social media management for tourism companies. So it is a big pleasure for me to now be part of the faculty of this master, because just a couple of years ago I was attending this master as a student, but today I am a member of the faculty, so I am honored, of course, to play this role. Before going on further, I would like to be sure that you are listening to me properly, because I see the comment of Vincenzo that you are at your office. Okay, don't worry, Vincenzo. Of course, you will have the chance to watch this video later. And compliments, Vincenzo, because you are the first winner of the first week challenge that we started a couple of days ago. So congratulations again for this title. Can you hear me properly? I would like to be sure that you can hear me properly. So if you can type yes in the comments, I am sure that everything is working properly. Can you hear me? Can you give me a feedback? I hope that you can hear me, because no one is replying. So I hope, I give it for granted that you are listening to me. So I was saying something about my academic preparation. Thank you, Vincenzo, for your feedback. And then after my academic studies, I started working in several companies that worked in the IT and the hospitality fields. And 6 years ago, I decided to become an entrepreneur because I founded my own academic training institute. Today, in fact, I am working with different academic institutions and international companies, and in this slide, I just put some logos to give you an idea about the kind of companies and institutions I am working with, from academies, universities, institutional and regional bodies, and also companies, of course. But now let's stop talking about myself and let's start our lesson. What are we going to see in this lesson? As I told you before, the focus of this lesson will be how to become fluent in English, and in order to become fluent in English, we have to be able to manage to think in English. I know that it is something that you can consider difficult at the moment, but I will give you some tips in order to do it, in order to overcome this difficulty and manage to do it. So this lesson will have this specific focus. During this lesson, I will provide you with some expressions, and by the end of this lesson, I will also give you the translation, the Italian translations of the let's say, most interesting expressions that I will use during this session. And we will also do a reading exercise together so that you can also have the chance to practice your pronunciation. So what I want to give to you during these lessons is, of course, the chance to practice your listening skill, your reading skill, and also the chance to enlarge your vocabulary. So how can we become fluent in English? The first way to achieve this goal is practicing, even when you are alone, because you cannot practice English just with other people, because maybe you do not have the chance to talk to people that speak English. So, in order to find an alternative to this situation, we can find out some ways to practice your English also when you are alone. Maybe now you're thinking that it's too difficult, that you don't know enough English words, and that you also always have to think in Italian and then translate. And so the result is that you speak too slow. But you don't have to think about all these problems. We can label them as problems, because you have to keep in mind that nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. So, as usual, you just have to know how to do things. So, you can start thinking in English even if you are a beginner. Many people that are attending this course are beginners, so maybe they have a poor vocabulary, they do not know many English grammars, but this cannot be a limit, because you can do it even if you are a beginner. So, thinking in English brings several benefits to your English speaking, because of course you will be able to respond faster, your sentences will sound more natural, and you will not get stuck as often when you don't know a word. So, in other words, you will not stop yourself in case you do not have the word to say, or the word that you would like to say does not come to your mind. But, okay, now maybe you are wondering how I can do it. there are 4 different levels of difficulty to do it. Maybe at the beginning you will feel stuck and frustrated or overwhelmed. But what you don't have to do, of course, is that you don't have to brush challenges under the rug. You have to normalize this challenge before experiencing it, because this will make everything easier. So, let's start. Let's see the level 1, so the first step that you have to do in order to start thinking in English. The first thing that you have to do is start thinking individual words. So the level number 1 is the easiest because we focus on individual English words for the things and actions that are part of our daily life. We can do this exercise every morning when we wake up. You have a look around and you start thinking how the things that surround you are called in English. So imagine a morning, a normal morning, you wake up, then you get up, and before doing everything that you normally do, you start looking around. Maybe you see some things, some objects that are in your bedroom, and the exercise is to start thinking how we would call these things in English. For example, you are on the bed, so you start thinking that letto in English is said bed. Then you look at the alarm clock. Then you go to the bathroom, and before brushing your teeth, you have to take the toothbrush and the toothpaste. Then you have breakfast. Then you get dressed, so you take your clothes and your shoes, and then you go to work. So the exercise is wake up in the morning, have a look around your bedroom, and start thinking how we call the different objects that are located in our bedroom in English. Is everything clear so far? Very good. Then, when you go to work, you can think of these examples of English words. For example, maybe you go to work by car. So you get in your car and you start thinking that macchina in English is said car. Then you go to work and you start thinking about your job. During the car, you are driving, so you think that the action of guidare in English is said drive. Maybe at work, you have some meetings, so you keep in mind that in English, riunione is said meeting. Maybe the meeting could be with your CEO, that is your boss, or with the board of directors, or other managers of your company. So you take the occasion of every routine situation that you live to start thinking about how some actions or some objects or some things that are part of your life are called in English. Maybe you do not know how to say something, but don't worry. We know that there are some interesting tools available online that can help us. For example, I always suggest 2 specific websites to look for the new words. These websites are wordreference.com in order to translate single words, and reverso.net in order to translate very, very little sentences. You can also download the applications, both of Word Reference and Reverso. They are free of charge, so you don't have to pay, and you can use them every time you need. The goal of this exercise is to keep in mind, keep stands for keep in mind, at least 10 words per day. So, level number 1, we look around, we identify some objects, and we try to translate every single object that is under our nose, we can say, that we see immediately. Okay, now let's go to the level number 2. The level number 2 is try to think in complete sentences. So the level number 2 is a little bit more challenging because on this level you think in complete sentences during the day. For example, you could be at lunch at your company canteen, and maybe you can think, today I am eating a sandwich. Today he is drinking water. This afternoon I have a meeting with the staff. Or I will email Giorgio the production report later. So these are examples of sentences that you can think about when you are at work, when you are at your office, or maybe you are working wherever you work, and translating some actions that you are doing. This will help you to put different words all together, always considering that you know how to create a very simple sentence in English. Because in the lesson number 1 of our course, I am telling you that in order to create a sentence in English, you have to put the subject, then the verb, and then the complement. So something that is very easy, but will ask you to make the effort to combine some words all together. You can go on with this exercise also in the evening when you watch TV, and maybe you can think, this is an interesting program. The journalist has black hair, or she's talking about today's news. So these are other examples of actions that, of course, we do on an ordinary basis. It is okay if your sentences are very simple, because the most important part is to practice thinking in English and practice forming complete sentences. So my suggestion at the beginning is not trying to create complicated sentences. There is no matter now to do this kind of work. Start to do something very easy. Also because we know that in English, the simpler, the better. So try to create something simple that can help you to practice. Let's go to the level number 3. So practice your functional English. So we have seen that first, what we can do is to start translating single objects, single words that are part of our daily actions. Then this level number 2 is to trying to create very, very simple sentences combining the actions that we are doing with the words that we know. The level number 3 is a level where you have to imagine to use English for everything that you would normally say during the day. So, after every time that you say something in Italian, you should try to think of how you would say the same things in English. So, in other words, you have to imagine that everything that you are thinking in Italian should be reported to a person that speaks just English. And so you have to do this translation, this mental translation exercise. For example, how would you buy a train ticket or order a drink if you were in London or if you were in San Francisco? You have to imagine not to be in Italy, in Milan, in Naples, in Rome, in Venice, or I don't know where you are in a specific time. But what you can do is to try to imagine to be abroad. And so start thinking of how to express some questions, some actions that you're doing in English language. For example, you are at the restaurant and you can think, after having ordered a bottle of water, you can think, can I have a bottle of water, please? So start thinking about how you can ask a bottle of water in English. Free tickets to the central station, please, if you are at the station. Please shut the window, it's cold in here, if you have to make a specific request to a person. Or other examples. Hi Jim, how was your weekend? Did you play golf this weekend? I didn't know about the meeting this afternoon. So this will help you to get used to using English in real life situations, even though you are only thinking and not speaking. So this could be very, very useful even if you do not speak out loud, because maybe you feel embarrassed to speak at the beginning. But of course, just thinking could be a perfect first step. It is mental practice, and if you do this constantly, you will develop the ability to do almost anything you need in English. So you will have the chance to practice, and so in the moment that you have to use English in concrete cases, you will not feel stopped, you will not feel blocked, because I think that the majority of you feel the pain to feel, of course, blocked when they have to think and speak in English. Or maybe, am I wrong? Do you want to give me a feedback in the comments? How do you feel when you have to talk and speak English with a person? Feel free to write in the comments, which is your perception, which is the feeling that you have. I remember, for example, at the beginning, when I started learning English at school, I was very embarrassed when I had to do oral tests in English, because I felt embarrassed in speaking in English. I was not sure about my pronunciation. I was worried that maybe the words that I needed didn't come to my mind. So it was hard for me at the beginning. Then practicing helped me to, of course, overcome this problem, this difficulty, and become fluent in this language. Now, let's finish with the level number 4. So the level number 4 is the level regarding narrative English. So this level will take you some time. So of course, it will require more time than the previous levels. Because you can practice, it while you are waiting in line, maybe at the supermarket, you are waiting at the checkout, alla cassa, at the checkout, or when you are riding public transportation, maybe you are on the bus or on the train going to work because you are a commuter.
Se ti è piaciuto l'estratto di questa lezione, iscriviti al canale, attiva le notifiche, ma soprattutto, per saperne di più, clicca sul link in descrizione. Ci vediamo dall'altra parte!